you with a job, it helps you accumulate gear and new acquisitions faster. So for those of them, people always have this thing, right, where shit, should I work a desk job, office job? Should I just to survive, make a decent living,
Yep.
or do I just f all that? I full time pursue my career.
Yeah.
I think for you, let's just say our firm is not easy to get into. You need to be of a certain caliber of person. Again, I'm basically saying that we both are pretty decent, we're pretty legit in our careers.
I hope so.
So yeah, and the fact that you can still do what you do.
Mhm.
So is that a new thing to aspire towards? Because there are people who are very extreme, right? It's either or, very binary. Either I be a full-fledged musician,
Yeah.
I perform 2 shows a day, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And then I write my own music, I come with my own albums, come with my own material. Obviously, there are guys like that, Benjamin King, the local guys, local bands. I mean, sure, if you want to do that, that's great.
Yeah.
But then you're sort of forming a new sort of paradigm where you can be a full-time person earning a good pay, paying your mortgage, no problem. But at the same time, twice a week, 3 times a week, maybe on the weekends, you can still do what I do. So tell us about that. Is that a new paradigm, do you think? Yeah. Or what are your thoughts about this balance that you're striking?
I think so. I feel like the forward to all of that is that essentially I do feel okay, maybe it's our upbringing
Right.
in Singapore being a very pragmatic society.
Yeah, and it's expensive, that's why you
Yeah.
have to be pragmatic. Yeah, carry on.
And essentially your aspirations do have to be tempered with realism. Yeah,
Realism.
Exactly.
Yeah, use the same word, basically.
Exactly. To essentially be aware of where you stand in terms of, okay, I want to be as famous as whoever, Taylor Swift or
Yeah.
whoever. Essentially, at times, unfortunately, it's not just one thing that makes her successful.
Right.
It's not just that she can write great songs. It's not just that she can perform. It's actually the whole package.
Right.
So you do have to be realistic about that, unfortunately,
That's true.
to be that famous,
Right.
be that successful. And even then, you think about it, there is an element of luck
Right.
involved. There's an element of you just being connected to the right people, born in the right place. Honestly,
Or exceptionally gifted, right?
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. So the good thing is that YouTube and social media has sort of lowered that bar to entry. You
Right.
can get a bit more famous. You can
Right.
get your music out.
You can earn an okay living just playing gigs, right?
Exactly, but okay again is subjective, right?
Right.
It depends,
Right.
right? So I think then on to the life choices, right? I always see it as sort of a pyramid, right?
Sure,
So
okay.
where you choose, or rather a triangle, where you choose to find where your life pans out to be. So
Okay.
in that triangle, you have on the extreme ends.
Okay.
So you have money,
Right.
you have time,
Right.
and you have fulfillment.
Right.
Right. I feel like it's always I think unless you're extremely fortunate to be
Born into a rich family,
or-
you don't have to worry about
Yep.
your livelihood.
or that 0.001% of the overall population, you can strike a perfect balance, right, between all three, right?
Right.
Or inherently something has got
To give, yeah.
essentially, right? So I think it's sort of a combination of all of those that you have to consider to find where you want to find joy. Can you balance that with being paid as well?
Yeah.
To be able to put food on the table.
No. Okay, maybe just to butt in. I'm sure he gets paid playing music as well. You don't have to confirm all the time, but I'm pretty certain he does get paid. So
it depends.
It helps, yeah.
It does. It does.
Look at the smoke on his face. Okay, yeah. So the paradox. So
So essentially, it's strangely enough, interestingly enough, I do have friends who choose, and they are musicians as well, right? And they choose
the cool people.
a totally different career path.
Right.
So I've like this friend used to work in a financial institution, comfortable.
Right.
He decided, you know what? Forget all this. I'm just going to do music full time.
Okay.
So essentially, he's a full-time drummer now for a lot of the large Chinese artists, and he flies over for gigs during the weekend.
He drums.
He drums.
Oh wow.
He drums. Very good friend of mine, and he chose that for himself. He said, "That's what I'm going to do. That's what I want to do with my life. That's what I find fulfillment. I might or might not give up certain aspects, like maybe a more stable sort of salary,
Income, yeah.
employment, and to rely on gigs and whatnot, which could actually be a bit more sporadic, right? So he made the switch change during COVID. So
Oh shit.
yeah, but essentially now all panned up for him. So he's doing well. He's playing stage. He loves his job and whatnot.
You give a couple examples of artists that he played for, like famous ones.
Famous ones.
Just for the gossip, yeah.
Actually, a lot of Chinese artists. I don't know
Like-
if I can name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cho?
No.
No, not the super big names.
Actually, super big, but more based in China.
Or more based in China. So
Yeah.
you cannot name them.
I don't know. I'm just trying
You
to.
don't know their
I'm
name.
trying to protect his privacy also.
Okay. Okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. But to be fair, I don't listen to much Chinese music.
Yeah.
You know? So,
No, but it's the kind that they can sell out stadiums still, right?
oh shit.
China, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's still huge artists, huge projects, but essentially it's a life with it. Again, you think about it, if you're a gigging musician, like
Right.
that sort of, I would say, playing for live sessions, your weekends are gone,
Right.
right? Are you okay with that?
Right.
And if you have a spouse, in terms of consideration, in terms of time spent, are you okay with that? Essentially, my free days are my weekdays when you might be out working a normal job. My weekends are all overseas. Are you
Right.
okay with that?
Right.
So a lot of that comes into consideration as well.
So for young people, I guess maybe more broadly
Yep.
beyond being a musician, just generally being an artist or doing something
Yep.
that's maybe a bit more unorthodox
Yep.
in nature. Would you say how would you, let's say if you now can be a mentor to these people,
Wow.
would you and let's say they have to give up like a well-paying job.
Yep.
I'm talking six figures, right? In Singapore. And then just assuming they're okay with that, they're doing reasonably okay, they're doing reasonably well.
Yeah.
Is it should they go for both in a sense that they use they do their do their hobby as a side hustle, or do they just never mind? I should just do either or.
Mm.
Well, what would be your advice to people like that?
Wow. I think context is important, right?
Right,
Again, if you are switching from one thing to another, you got to consider what you're giving up,
right,
what you're gaining as well. Right. So it's really just down to that sort of balancing act as well.
right,
I think for me, it took. So I have had an off, like, thought, random thoughts like, oh, what if I do music full time and everything? Then you come to the realization that, okay, like for me personally,
Mhm.
the question I ask myself is, would I want something that I enjoy and take joy in, which is a hobby, to become something that is work, right? And a lot of the artists out there, essentially, I do watch a lot of their interviews and everything, right? If you were to put yourself in their shoes,
right.
if you were to be playing the same thing,
Over
yes,
and over again.
no matter what variations and whatnot, right?
Right.
But essentially, you're playing that same material over and over again,
Right.
right? And you don't really have a choice as to what you play. The crowd demands that you play your famous song. You have to do it, right? Like, are you okay with that?
Right.
And if it, yeah, essentially, if it becomes a job, right? Because the moment I do feel that at times, if you put a structure or rigidity around things,
It becomes a lot less enjoyable.
it does kill the joy at times.
Right, right. So, which is why, in terms of, I mean, maybe to also talk about Watch Jelly, whatever we're doing here.
Yep.
I sometimes joke to people that this is my real job, but really, no, it's a passion project of mine, which is why I'm getting the views that I'm getting. Not a lot, nothing to shout about.
Mm.
But I genuinely enjoy these conversations, right? I know Georgia for several years, but this is the first time I sat down with him,
Yep.
literally non-stop, talking so in depth, no interruption, no manager calling and then everything on the call, which by the way happened just before this interview started. It was quite funny. So for those of you who know us, work with us, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoy these conversations because it's. I hope because I managed I dig out information from you that
Yep.
it makes me know you a lot better.
Yep.
Makes me get pieces of information, perspectives
Yep.
from a life that I don't lead.
Mhm.
And sometimes I imagine what if. I
Yeah.
get a decent perspective now. And generally a lot of these points I've thought over before, but it's nice to have somebody concurring and confirming.
Yep.
I think it's very valuable.
Yep.
So I think from that standpoint, it completely makes sense. I totally agree. So would you say then now? So if you had to do it all over again,
Yep.
would you do the exact same thing?
I would think so.
You would think so?
would think so.
You go on the same route again, more or less.
Actually, it depends, I would say.
Okay.
If you were to give me a free try over that I can restart,
Mhm.
hey, why not? No risk involved, right? Try something new, right?
So let's say you're fresh out of school,
Fresh out of school,
you would do that.
just try something new. No, if I could get a free restart every time, right? From
Or
that
free
standpoint.
research. Okay, like a Game Boy.
But
like
again, I don't know if the life would suit me, right?
right.
The simple sort of pragmatic.
In a simulation, you wouldn't mind doing.
Yeah,
it
in a
for-
simulation,
Suppose
exactly.
I can just go to sleep, simulate like a
Exactly.
real scenario for 2 years,
Exactly.
and then if I can say yes, I want to continue
Exactly.
when I wake up,
Exactly.
or no, go back to my current arrangement.
Yep.
I think you would. I mean, most people would do that.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
to try, right?
Right. You're right.
But if not, I would think, yeah, the practical aspect would kick in relatively quickly, and then I might end up being in the same situation that I'm in right now. Because, yeah, unfortunately, I think in terms of stability and everything.
Right.
We do. I'm not sure whether again it's a cultural aspect to it. And
I'm sure there is. Yeah, I'm sure there is.
right. So essentially, that whole worry about, okay, is this stable? Is this for the long run? Do I
Right.
have a sufficient enough nest egg if I wanted to retire? That sort of considerations. We're still relatively young, but
Yeah.
essentially those sort of considerations are those that kick in, I would say.
Correct.